or go for it.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight on our call. This call is for moms and moms-to-be on how to balance their mom duties and their Arbonne business. So I'm going to first bring on the line Executive Regional Vice President Lynn Carpenter, and she's going to share a little bit about herself and how she started her Arbonne business when she was pregnant and how she has continued to just excel in her business and keep it going. So way to go, Lynn. Let's bring you on.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you. And I am thrilled to be with all of you. I don't know if I've met all of you yet. I'm hoping at GTC I will be able to. Hopefully you'll all be there. I want to thank Alyssa for getting Becky and I together to share this topic, to give insight on this topic, because I do think it's very important, and it's something that is helpful for us who do have children, who are planning to have children, who are in the process of making a child in their body, for them to have this insight as you're on this journey of your Arbonne business. So I'm going to start out by just sharing a little bit of my journey, how it started with Arbonne. A little bit about me. I currently live in Reno, Nevada, and my professional background is in dental hygiene. I was accepted to a dental hygiene program up in Oregon. After graduating, I moved to Portland, Oregon, and I lived there for a couple years as I started my career. But what I will tell you is that on my very first day on the job as a practicing hygienist, I was driving home to my apartment, and I knew that I would not do it forever. And it was disheartening. It was exciting because I knew I had more before me, but it was disheartening. I was 21. I went through college, spent a lot of money, and had my degree. I walked across the stage, and I thought life should now start. So why am I having this feeling that there's still a lot more out there for me? And so that started this journey of me knowing that there was more, seeking, searching, praying of what that would be. I went on many, many years. After living in Portland, I moved back home to Reno, Nevada. So I continued to work as a dental hygienist. And it was about 7 years after practicing that I hit a wall, and I said, I want it to be different. I want a change in my life. So I then took a break from dental hygiene, and I went into massage therapy school. And I had always had a liking for entrepreneurship. So I thought, you know what, I can go and become a massage therapist, and I'm going to open my own business. I had clarity on how exactly I could do that. And that is what I did. Opened my massage therapy business, was a business for myself, was excited to have that freedom with my time. But what I didn't understand was the challenge that came with me being in business for myself. And I will be the first to say that it was very difficult for me to be able to replace my income that I was used to making as a dental hygienist. So after about a year of really trying to get that going, my husband and I had a conversation. He said, babe, you got to do something. You're going to have to go back. And that was hard. It was a hard pill for me to swallow, because I felt that when I walked away from dental hygiene that I would never re-enter. So it was a little kick to the side. But I did go back. I found an office to work at part-time while I continued to grow my business as a massage therapist part-time. And then something happened. I became pregnant. And I remember intently making the choice that, okay, you have this little being inside of you. It's no longer about you trying to find your way in the world and your purpose and your dreams. You have 2 jobs that provides some income. It provides a stable income, I should say. You know, it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad either. So it was a stable income. I had a little bit of time freedom. So I thought, you know what, just count your blessings and carry on as you're now going to enter the world of becoming a mother. And so I consciously put my yearning for a bigger dream on the back burner. It was during that time that I had been using Arbonne's products, loving the results, loving the philosophy of pure, safe, and beneficial. And it was a time when Dr. Becky had a conversation with me, and she said, you know, Lynn, you're enjoying these products. You've been sharing them. I hosted for her. I was helping her with her maternity, pregnant at the same time. And I hosted for her, and at the end of that, she said, you know, you had a really good response from your class. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, or if you have an interest, but you could join my team, and you could start your own business as an Arbonne consultant. Well, number one, I had no clue about the business behind Arbonne. Yes, I was enjoying the products, but I had no idea that I could join Becky's team and we could do this together. The other thing is that Becky had no idea either that I had spent 8.5 years praying for something to be different. She didn't know that I spent all those years of wanting to be in business for myself, wanting to reach higher gains, higher limits, do work that felt fulfilling rather than me just going to a job and coming home and that's my life day in and day out. I was like, there's got to be so much more to life, because I just have this huge feeling that there is. And so she didn't realize. So kudos to Becky that she had that conversation. So number one I'll start with is that never be fearful to have this conversation, to ask somebody, do you think that this business would be a fit for you? I thought of you because of this. Allow others to have the choice. Give them the ability to make the choice if this is something that would be a fit for them or not. I am thankful every day that Becky did not make the choice for me, because here's what my world looked like when she was saying, hey, Lynn, would you like to start an Arbonne business? I was working as a dental hygienist. I was running a massage therapy business in a practice, and I was 7 months pregnant. My belly was way out there, and I was soon to be a first-time mom. So even for myself, I stand back and I think, kudos to her, because probably for myself at that time, I would not have offered it to me. So I'm so thankful that Becky did. So let people make the choice for themselves if this is a fit for them. So Becky offered it to me. She didn't realize I had been searching for nearly a decade. I looked into what the business offered. And although I had this short window of time where I put all of those intentions on the back burner, I remember physically I was in my office and I sat back in my chair and I was reading the benefits of being a consultant. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, what I have been praying for years and years and years, I believe it has presented itself. And although I was working 2 jobs and I was going to be a mom and I had no idea what that was going to look like for me, I knew that this was something I couldn't walk away from. And I jumped in. I jumped in with both feet. And I will tell you, literally one of the smartest life decisions I've ever made. I am so grateful. I couldn't even imagine my life, where it would be now 9 years later, where it would be without this incredible journey. So that's a little bit of my story. I'm going to share with you my road to becoming a regional vice president. So started my business in March of 2007, and I was able to enter district manager qualification that month. In April of 2007, I finished at the end of that month. So the month of May was the month that I was a new district manager. This was the month that I was able to help my first business partner to get on this journey as well, and that's the amazing Kim Malta, who's still in my business. And both Becky and I, pregnant bellies out to the world, for the world to see. It was quite the sight. We would walk in to launch Kim Malta, and we were both just ready to have babies any day now. Because that was in May. Both of our daughters were born at the beginning of June. So I launched my first business partner. That was in May. My first month as a district manager. It was then June, which was June 7th when I had my baby. June was the month that I entered qualification for area manager. And what took place in my business is shortly after delivering my daughter Morgan, is that my sister-in-law, the amazing Sarah Gannert, who's an executive regional vice president, she decided to start her business along with her best friend that was going to start along with her. So Becky and I helped them to launch in the month of June. In that month, I entered area manager qualification. In July, I was able to help my second business partner, or this would be my third business partner, and that was a coworker. She's not currently doing the business, but she's still an amazing client that continues to buy often. And so it was in the month of July that we helped her to start her business. So at this time, I had 3 direct business partners that had started this business. And then it was in August that I finished my area manager qualification. So for me, I was laser focused because in my world, what was happening is that I became a mom. And I knew I had 3 months of maternity leave from dental hygiene and massage therapy. And I to myself, I thought, if I can become an area manager and and earn the salary that happens, earn the commission that takes place as an area manager, I can only have to go back to one job. So I was able to close the doors on my massage therapy practice. And in September of 2007, when I went back to my dental hygiene job, I worked dental hygiene and I worked my Arbonne business. And I did not have to go back to massage therapy. So I was an area manager. When I went back to dental hygiene work, I worked at that office for 1 year. And I worked my Arbonne business consistently, and I gave it a lot of focus, and I worked hard at it. After 1 year doing that, I was able to retire from dental hygiene, and that was in October of 2008. I walked away from dental hygiene. So this then gave me the ability to fully focus on my career, my business as an Arbonne consultant, and it was then in June. So I walked away from dentistry in October of 2008. It was then about 7 months later that I entered qualification for regional vice president. That was in June of 2009. I finished that qualification in July of 2009. And in that month, what I didn't realize was happening, I was going to be blessed with another child. So it was the following month, I had just finished up my promotion, and I found out I was pregnant with my second child, my son, Carson. So that was my journey to becoming a regional vice president. As I had this time to be able to reflect on that journey and what that has looked like, now my daughter, she is 8, and my son is 5, so he just started kindergarten this year. What I look back on and what I could say really was impactful is that I had a big why. I was laser beam focused with my time and how I was using that in my business. I knew that I wanted to retire from massage therapy and dental hygiene. I knew that I wanted Arbonne to be my full career. So I was doing all that I could to work the business to where I could replace my incomes and walk away from those other professions. So you have to have a big why that drives you, that motivates you, that puts a fire into your belly to where there's nights that's difficult to sleep because you are so on point to achieve that. The other thing I would say that was helpful during that time is to be really on point with my time. So I wasn't messing around. I allowed myself to have some fun days, but I didn't have a lot of those. I was really, again, on point. I was serious about my business because I knew what I wanted this to provide for my family. I didn't want to be tied to a dental chair. I didn't want that when my child was sick, I had to go to work, because if I didn't, I would be letting down my employer, I would be letting down my coworkers, and I'd be letting down the patients who were waking up, setting their appointments to come in and see me. So I didn't want to have that anymore. So I was on point with my time. What I think is helpful, and this is still something I work on consciously, is that when I'm working my business, I'm working my business. When I'm being mommy, I'm mommy. At times, it may even be where I have to have my phone in the other room to where I can't hear it buzz and I can't check it, because it really takes self-control. And there's times where I have to literally put my phone in the other room to have that self-control, to detach from my business and just be fully present with my family. It's important to have focused time that is distraction-free to just work your business. So how I looked at it is that when I was in my massage therapy practice, I would not have had my children with me while I was performing massage. When I was at my dental office and I was seeing dental patients to clean their teeth, there's no way my employer would allow my child to be in that room. So I treated my business the exact same way, is that when I was working my business, I needed distraction-free time to where I was just on point, fully showing up as a professional for my business. I would also recommend bring your spouse along into your business. I would always tell my husband, this isn't my business, this is our business, and what do we want this to bring into our life? I think that is huge. I think it's really important that with your spouse, significant other, husband, whoever the counterparts are in your life, that you sit down at the table and really allow this to be a business that involves both of you. I think it's important to set goals as a team. Okay, I'm going to be taking time. I'm going to be stepping away. There's going to be evenings where I'm going to be away, and you're going to be cooking dinner and getting the kids to bed. There's going to be some times on the weekends where I'm going to be working this business. So what do we want? Since there's going to be some sacrifice of time, what are the goals that we're wanting this to bring into our lives? For my husband, he wanted me to have a flexible schedule. He loved the idea of, yes, growing a powerful business, being involved in something that was very fulfilling for me on a personal front, but he also wanted me to have the flexibility to where I could take my children to school, our children, pick them up, where I could volunteer in their class, where if they were sick, I could stay home. I could clear my schedule with no challenge and be home for them. So that was something that was important to him. We both wanted to be able to eventually purchase a dream home that was on more acreage. And so that was important to us. We wanted to have the ability to contribute high amounts of income to our retirement accounts. Retirement is something that's very important to my husband. It's something that just makes him feel secure. So we made that goal to make sure that we're being very intentional with funding our retirement savings. He wants to golf more. He loves golfing. I remember waking up and saying, babe, how many days do you want to spend on the golf course each week? Because I'm going to make that happen for you. And I will never forget the cute little smile, because I think you're like, isn't this great that my wife is wanting to also make sure that I'm getting my personal fulfillment and being able to have that personal time for himself. And I know too that and we spoke about this. So my husband's in business for himself. He's an insurance agent. He knew that if I was able to grow a business and to bring this additional income into our home, it meant less pressure on him to have to do all of that. So those were some of the things that we communicated very early on. So I just say, communicate, communicate, communicate. We continue to do this just yesterday, every Sunday, and my husband's amazing at this. He'll say, babe, what does this week look like? What are we doing? I'm like, okay, I have an event on Tuesday evening, and I have an event on Thursday evening, so I'm going to need your support on those nights. I'm home on the other nights. He'll tell me what's going on in his business. So it's very much of what's going on this week, how can I support you, and how can you support me? We're in this as a team. Let's support each other to get through this week to where everything's happening and everything's coming together for our children, for our businesses, for our personal needs. So that's something that is really big. And then I would say this was a quote that early on stuck with me. My very first Arbonne conference, we had the speaker, Les Brown. He was absolutely amazing, brought me to my knees in his message and his delivery. And he had a quote that I'll never forget, and it was something that I continued to say to myself, especially in my early days. And this quote was, leap and grow your wings on the way down. Leap and grow your wings on the way down. And there were so many times that is what I had to do, because often in this business, there's not always certainty. It's not always that if I do A and B, I will get Z. And I didn't always know that if I reached out to this person, what the outcome would be, or if I do this event, what the outcome would be. I just would say, you know what, I'm leaping. I'm going to leap and I'm going to figure it out. Or walking away from dental hygiene. How is this all going to work out? I'm leaping and I'm going to grow my wings. And it really allowed me to develop some toughness and strength. And that was a quote that I just would continue to recite in my mind whenever I felt some uncertainty. And then the last thing that I'll share with you is that I highly recommend a book that was recently recommended to me by Executive National Vice President Deanna Herron. And it is called The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkerson. The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkerson. I will tell you, I find it difficult to read through books. I'm taking the time to sit down. If I do read it at night, and then oftentimes I'll do a few pages and I'm ready to fall asleep. So I often will get books on audio, and I'll listen to them when I'm driving in the car, or I'll listen to them when I'm doing laundry, doing housework around the house. So that's a good way that I'm able to get that information. But I will tell you, this is what I feel. I feel that anytime a consultant is starting this business, this should be the first book that they read. And just to give you a gist, just to kind of whet your palate for what that book brings, basically what the story is that we are all born with a dream, and that has been planted in us intentionally. It's been intentionally planted in us. And some of us will recognize that and walk towards it. Some of us may choose to ignore it and maybe live more in the area of comfort. And neither one is wrong, but for those who recognize it and they want to walk towards it, to have an understanding that when you're on your path of reaching your dream, you will hit adversity, you will have challenge, you will have anxiety, you will have challenging moments that will bring you to your knees and leave you in tears. And this is what will happen when we're on the path of achieving our dream. The challenging part and a myth is that, well, if I'm on the right path, then I shouldn't feel this way, or I shouldn't be challenged. Or if this business was right for me, then I wouldn't be feeling this way and out of sorts and anxiety and out of my comfort zone. And it's the opposite. It's actually the opposite. That when you are walking towards your dream, those things are going to happen, and it's par for the course. And there's so much strength that comes through that. And that is what we have to go through in order to reach our dream. So I would highly, highly recommend either get a copy of the book, The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkerson, or get the audio so that you can start listening to it, and it will make sense of what I'm saying. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce Dr. Becky Humphreys. She is, of course, our National Vice President, who's absolutely amazing. She has been at my side in this business, and I am so grateful for her. She is an amazing leader, and it is my opinion that we have one of the best teams, and it really is because of Becky and her dream of what our organization would look like. And I couldn't be more proud than to call her our National Vice President, and we are all blessed to have her in our lives. So I now will turn it over to Dr. Becky.
Lynn, that was phenomenal. Thank you so, so much. We could end the training now. I mean, Lynn hit all the high notes, as she always does. She's an incredible trainer and such a guru of inspiration. She inspires me daily, as do all of our amazing leaders who are on this call. So we're so grateful to you guys for spending a few precious moments in the last moments that we have for our call tonight. What I want to do is just mainly give you guys some inspiration that you can hold close to you, because like Lynn said, this business, even though it's simple, it's not always easy. It definitely is a heart journey. It's a faith journey. So much more a walk of faith than any skill set that we could ever think we need to bring to the table. I know many of you have already seen probably the posting by Kendall and Alyssa in the Facebook group of all of the leaders that were at the MVP Maui conference last week who had babies in their arms. There were about a dozen such women and men on the stage up there with Stian and Kay, and that is something that so heartwarming and yet so powerful. Really is a true visual of what's possible with this business. Yes, we can definitely bring our families up in Arbonne with us. And of course, it's not just limited to the babies. There were children of all ages. It's really fun to see some of the top leaders that we have grown up with and watching in Arbonne for the 10 years that I've been in Arbonne. Linda Parker, Debbie Neal, Tiffany Buffton, of course, Deanna Heron, Cecilia Stoll. Many of them bring their teenage children who have literally grown up in Arbonne to continue that vision for us. So such a powerful visual to lead with. And my two nuggets that I want to impart before I close, and then we will open it up for questions. We'll have a time for a few questions for those of you who might be interested. But my two nuggets are this. Vision and the time is now. So the vision piece, sometimes that topic can feel so big, you guys, and I really want to just shrink it down for you. What vision means to me and what I hope to impart for you is just do not let yourself live in the bubble that is right now. And that bubble in my mind is 6, 12 months, even 2 years. That bubble is too close. I really want you to project out and develop a vision, develop a mental illustration of what your life is going to look like 5 years from now. It really is. You have to be in it for the long haul. And I love that Lynn said that we're planted from the dream giver, that we're planted with a dream, and that dream is intentional. And so your vision work, you just need to go about what discovering that dream is for you. It might be retiring your significant other so that you guys can both have as much time freedom and choice as you wish. It might be being able to help support your child or your future child in their dream and aspiration. What if they're going to be an Olympic skier? What if they're going to take on the world in other powerful ways? Your time and energy has to be freed up for that. And granted, we don't have the full picture in place, but we know, just as Lynn shared, that we know we have a handful of things when we talk that through with our spouse or significant other, things that are on our heart that we really want to envision our life to be like. I can tell you guys in all honesty, when I started Arbonne 10 years ago, this coming summer, my vision was extremely limited. I sold myself short and I sold our family short by not projecting that out and looking 5 years down the road. Thank heavens, God had the vision all nailed down, and he planted amazing people in my life, such as Lynn, such as Jenny Pierce, such as Kendall, and all of our incredible leadership team. So God definitely pulled me through that one, you guys, because my vision was so limited. I just wanted to start my business and be able to make an extra $1,000 a month to help ratchet down our debt. That was all that my vision had at the start of my business. Now, of course, 10 years into Arbonne, my vision is so much grander, and my vision includes all of you and all of the people who haven't yet walked into your life or into your business. That's so powerful to think about. So if you think of a round table of people, like the Knights of the Round Table, who are the people that are going to be your MVPs in your organization? That's the part of the vision that I want you to plant. Plant that seed for yourself and plant it for your family. And the other fun thing that came as a great side effect to saying yes to this business, that never would I have thought that I would come out on the other side of this being a better mom, being a better wife, being a better friend, even being better in my JOB. I do still work part-time because I love it. Arbonne has made me better in all areas. And I can tell you, because Troy and I had to do that balance work and we had to be mindful of our schedules, my husband is a better parent. And he would say that if he were standing behind me right now, because of Arbonne. Because he had one-on-one time where he was solely responsible for taking care of the kids. And that has been a huge, huge gift to our children. It's been a huge gift to him and, of course, to us as a couple. So there's power in that, such power. The second part of what was on my heart is that the time is now. And really, when I was thinking about our training tonight, I can't tell you how many patients and how many friends who now have children older than mine. Caden is 11 and Bryn is 8. Caden was just 1 when I started Arbonne. Bryn wasn't even a glimmer in our eye. But so many of my patients and friends who have older kids, they come back and they say, Becky, it is so awesome that you did all of your work, or the majority of your hard work, when your kids were little. because you know what? They don't remember you being gone. And an example I will share specifically is one mom who now has girls that are 10th grade, 7th grade, and 5th grade. And she said, you know, I stayed at home. I purposely stayed at home until my kids were getting close to late elementary or junior high. And that's when I went back into the workforce. It was the biggest mistake ever because they missed me and they needed me more at that time in their life. And so they give me credit all the time because, you know, because I stepped away when they needed me most. And that has resonated so much in my heart, that our tender spirits need us to be present. They need to have parents that are able to fill that space and remove some of those distractions that otherwise pop up and bubble up in life. So vision, put that vision out there, 5 years, what you want life to look like for you and your family, and then the time is now. It's definitely a simple business, but we know it's not easy. It's not easy to step away from your family. Lynn and I have talked about that so many times, the mom guilt piece, and it tugs at your heart. You feel like you have to like almost split yourself and leave part of yourself, you know, with your kids at home, but then step out and build this business, work to create it so that you can have all the time that you want with your kids at a point in the near future. That's truly what it takes. And it's work, but it's so worth it. Your family's worth it. And even beyond that, it's worth it to keep working to help the families that you haven't even met yet. And that's one thing that we always give our gratitude back to Deanna Heron, our upline amazing executive national vice president. Thank heaven that she said yes some 17 years ago and that she continues to say yes. Because, I mean, many people wouldn't have the blessed place in their life if she hadn't reached out and stepped and done that first. And so just to wrap up, I'm going to share a little bit. Many of you know Deanna's story, and I won't recap the whole thing, but I'm going to hit a few highlights and have a special picture to share with you guys. Many of you recall that when Deanna started her Arbonne business, she was working a 50 to 60 hour work week in medicine. And that included early mornings and also late evenings when she had to do rounds at the local hospital. So many times she would be dropping her 3-year-old son, Brett, and 3-month-old daughter, Carly, off at daycare in the wee hours and might not even be seeing them before they went to bed that same evening. So that's really how stretched thin her schedule was. She did not have a lot of time to work this business, so she took advantage of those little windows of opportunity in her day to make that happen. And then at year 3.5 is when she and her team promoted to region. And then shortly beyond that, in her 4th year with Arbonne, they promoted to nation. And so she was busy. She was getting her work on, that's for sure. So the image I'm going to, let me see if I can share my screen here for a moment with you guys. I'll pull up a precious, precious picture. Deanna just shared this with me today. I asked her because I knew we wanted to have this up for our training. Okay. Here we go. So what I'm bringing onto the screen right now, for those of you who can't necessarily see the image, this is a picture that her son, Brett, made. And Brett was probably about 3rd grade at the time, and he needed to create a visual of who his hero was. And so this is an image in front of you that is Deanna. She is wearing the red tights and the red cape. And I guess that's probably Brett or someone hanging from a tree saying, help me. Gorgeous, gorgeous picture. And the accompanying message that Brett wrote is just absolutely priceless. It goes like this. My hero is my mom. My mom used to be a doctor. She quit her job to spend time with my sisters and me. She found a new job, but she still stays home with us. She helps me a lot. When I grow up, I want to be like my mom. That way I can be a good dad. My mom works very hard. I love my mom. By Brett Herron. So incredible. I absolutely thought that that would be an amazing thing to close our formal training out tonight. Let me stop the screen sharing. But how powerful is that? So now the legacy that she's passed on to her children is that of, I'm going to do everything in my power to be the dad that my kids deserve. I think that there's no better gift to continue that legacy forward for our whole families. So with that, I will open up the line for any of you that might have questions. We would love to entertain a couple of those for about the next 5 to 10 minutes, if anyone does. Y'all are so beautiful. My gosh. My God, I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I have this beautiful group of women here. Any questions for Lynn or myself?
I have a quick question. Let me get my thing on. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Hi, Ash.
Okay. Hi. So I guess what's like what part of the day do you guys like really try to like schedule your Arbonne time? So I guess, so for me, for example, I work 8 to 5. I go pick up Kaylee. I get home at 5:45, and then like it's time for dinner. And then I feel bad calling people after like 8 o'clock. I feel like, you know, personally, I don't like getting calls after 8 o'clock. So I'm like, I have like a short period of time to like do Arbonne. So like, what did you guys do for that?
That's an awesome point. I find, and the thing that I always come back to, Ashley, with regard to your question is whatever time of day works best for you. Your goal, yes, I mean, our goal is to be able to catch people and speak live with them whenever possible. But oftentimes, the goal should just be simply planting a seed with that phone call or with that text message. Even just putting that on someone's radar makes them that much more amenable that we're going to be reaching out soon. If it's not the same day, it might be within the following day. So if lunch hour is a good window for you to make calls for follow-up or to do your asking calls, that's a good time window that's worked for me. But in addition to that, right after dinner is now a time when, granted, my kiddos are a little bit older now. They're 11 and 8, but now I shift kind of the cleanup duties to my husband and to my kids. So while they're doing that 15 to 20 minutes of cleanup, that would put us at probably about 6:40 to 7 o'clock my time. That's when I'll do my reach out as well. So I try and work in about 15 to 20 minute segments and then put my phone to the side and be present with my family. Good question.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? And of course, you guys can always message us too. It's definitely something we're always available to help answer any questions you guys have. Fantastic. Well, we love this special time with you. Again, thank you all for being live with us. We will put this up on YouTube so that you can definitely share with your team, your existing team, but also the team that you haven't even met yet. So this will help them in the future. We love you guys. Thank you again so much for your time. Thank you. Special thanks to Alyssa for bringing us together tonight and for Lynn's awesome training. You girls rocked it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.